Beloved, have you spoken to your money today? What if I told you that every coin in your life is a seed ready to multiply infinitely? The law doesn't guess, it obeys. Comment below, have you instructed your abundance to multiply? Beloved, listen carefully. Money was never designed to be your master. It was created to serve you. It is not your ruler, not your dictator, not your captor. Money is nothing more than obedient energy, waiting for your command. Just as a faithful servant awaits the word of the master, so does money wait for the decree of your spirit. Too many souls live in bondage to this illusion. They believe that money is the one who decides, the one who grants permission, the one who controls their every choice. They bow to it, they chase it, they fear its absence as though life itself depended upon the digits in a bank account. But hear me well, money is not your source. God is your source. The infinite spirit of supply is your fountain, your storehouse, your treasure chest without walls. Money is simply one of the channels through which this supply flows. When you understand this, you reverse the roles. No longer do you chase money. No longer do you tremble when bills appear. No longer do you shrink before the shadow of lack. Instead, you stand tall and declare, money obeys me. Money is my servant. Money comes when I call and multiplies when I instruct. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman weary from years of debt and struggle. Each day she woke with dread, counting pennies, fearing letters in the mailbox, hiding from creditors. She believed money ruled her life, and indeed, as long as she believed it, it did. One evening in her despair, she stumbled upon a simple teaching. Speak to your money as though it were alive, and it will obey. At first, she laughed. How could such a thing be true? But with nothing to lose, she began. Each morning, she held a single coin in her hand and whispered, "You are blessed. You are multiplied. You are the seed of endless harvest." She decreed, "Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied under grace and in perfect ways." At first, nothing seemed to change, but she persisted. She chose not to beg, not to plead, but to command with faith. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities appeared. She was offered freelance work that covered her bills. Then out of nowhere, a friend recommended her for a position that paid 3 times her old salary. Within 3 months, she had cleared her debts. Within 6 months, she was saving. And within a year, she was traveling abroad for the very first time in her life. What changed? Not the economy, not her background, not her luck. What changed was her consciousness. She stopped being a slave to money, and she made money her servant. She realized that every coin, every bill, every check, every transfer was energy, divine substance clothed in green paper, awaiting her command. Think of money as the wind. You cannot see it, you cannot hold it, but you can feel its movement. And if you lift your sails, if you position yourself with faith, the wind will carry you to new shores. The sailor does not beg the wind. He instructs his sails, and the wind obeys. So it is with you and your money. Beloved, I say this with holy urgency. Stop speaking to your money with fear. Stop cursing it with phrases like, "I never have enough," "It disappears so fast," or "I'm always broke." The law does not guess, it obeys. When you declare lack, lack is multiplied. When you declare increase, increase is multiplied. From this day forward, treat your money as your faithful servant. Bless it, command it, instruct it. If you hold a single coin, decree, you are not one, you are many. Multiply yourself in divine order. When you pay a bill, say, "This money returns to me tenfold, under grace." When you give, affirm, "This gift opens doors to treasures unseen." Write this upon your heart. Money has no will of its own. It cannot argue, it cannot resist, it cannot rebel. It only reflects the command you give it. And if you give no command, it will drift like a servant without orders, lost, confused, wasted. But when you speak with authority, When you declare with faith, money responds as swiftly as the echo answers the voice. Now, beloved, close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as master of a household, and money as the humble servant standing before you. See yourself giving clear instructions. See the servant bow, acknowledge, and run to fulfill your word. That is the truth of your life. Money is not your master, it is your servant, and as you speak, so it shall obey. Decree now with me. My money obeys me. It is my servant, never my master. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. I live as the channel of infinite abundance, under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, never forget, the key is not the coin, not the bill, not the check. The key is your word. The law is simple. Money will always reflect the decree of your spirit. Name your good. Beloved, the law of life is exact. You must name your good. You cannot receive what you refuse to define. The universe does not deliver in vague packages. It responds to clarity. It listens to instruction. It waits for your decree. The law does not guess. It obeys. So many souls pray for prosperity, yet live in frustration. Why? Because their requests are clouded, undefined, wrapped in fog. They ask for more money, but how much is more? They ask for a better job, but what does better mean? They ask for success, but success in which field, which form, which season? The universe is not a mind reader, it is a faithful servant. If you do not name your desire, it cannot deliver. Consider the farmer. If he stands before his field and says, "Grow me something good," the soil does not know what to produce. But if he plants apple seeds, he reaps apples. If he plants wheat, he reaps wheat. So it is with your words. You must plant specific seeds in the soil of spirit. You must name your good. There was once a man, weary of his low-paying work. For years he prayed for prosperity, and for years he received only small raises, small gifts, small coins, just enough to survive, but never enough to flourish. He could not understand why the law of abundance seemed to bypass him. One day he heard a truth that struck him like lightning. If you want a definite thing, you must make a definite demand. Name your good, and it will recognize you. He sat in silence, and for the first time, he became specific. He said aloud, "I receive an opportunity that pays me 10 times more than I now earn, under grace and in perfect ways." He repeated it daily, not with begging, but with authority. He saw himself already walking in that new place. Within weeks, a friend called him with an opening at an international company. The salary? 10 times his current wage. The decree was fulfilled exactly as spoken. Beloved, do you see the power? The law does not deliver fog. It delivers what is named. To ask for prosperity is like asking the waiter for food. You may receive bread when you wanted fruit, but when you name your dish, it arrives at your table. So it is with spirit. Metaphorically, imagine standing before the great storehouse of heaven. The shelves are filled with every good thing: health, wealth, love, joy, freedom. Angels stand ready as attendants, waiting for your order. But you must speak it. You must point and say, "That one, that measure, that form." The law will not choose for you. It will only bring what you have named. So let me ask you, beloved, what is the good you long for but have never dared to name? Is it a new home by the sea? Is it a thriving business with joyful clients? Is it $10,000 to bless your family? Is it freedom from debt? Speak it, write it, declare it. For until you name it, it remains in shadow. But once you name it, it comes rushing into light. Here is your decree. I name my good now. I declare exactly what I desire, and it recognizes me at once. My prosperity finds me with ease, under grace, and in perfect ways. Remember, naming your good is not arrogance, it is obedience to divine law. To remain vague is to dishonor the precision of spirit. To speak clearly is to honor the Creator who said, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Did God say, "Let there be something nice"? No. God spoke with clarity. And you, made in the image of God, must do the same. Beloved, let us practice now. Do not say, "I want money." Say instead, "I receive $5,000 in perfect order." Do not say, "I want health." Say, "I am strong, radiant, whole, filled with divine vitality." Do not say, "I want happiness." Say, "I live in joy, overflowing and unshakable." The power lies in the name. When you name your good, it hears you. It recognizes you. It comes running like a faithful friend. Decree with me now, "I boldly name my good. I declare my wealth, my health, my joy, and my freedom." The law obeys, and my good arrives swiftly under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, the time of vagueness is over. Speak clearly, name your good, and watch the heavens open to deliver exactly what you decree. The law of multiplication. Beloved, hear this eternal truth. What you bless multiplies, and what you curse diminishes. The law of multiplication is woven into the very fabric of the universe. Every seed carries within it the pattern of expansion. An apple seed does not grow into one apple. It becomes a tree bearing hundreds of apples, each one filled with more seeds to continue the cycle. So it is with your words, your thoughts, your decrees, and yes, even with your money. But here lies the danger. Many souls unknowingly multiply the very conditions they fear. They speak lack, and lack multiplies. They complain of bills, and bills multiply. They curse their jobs, and misery multiplies. The law does not decide what to increase. It simply reflects what you bless with your attention, your emotion, and your words. Consider the widow in the old tale. She had only a handful of flour and a little oil, not enough to feed her family. But she chose faith over fear. She blessed the little she had. She declared, "This food shall multiply." And it did. Day after day, the jar of oil did not run dry. The flour did not vanish. Her supply lasted until the famine ended. She proved the eternal law, that which you bless expands. Beloved, imagine holding a single coin in your hand. Most would sigh and say, "This is not enough." But the one who understands divine law says, "This is the seed of infinite harvest. I bless it and it multiplies." And by that blessing, the law is set in motion. Soon new channels open, unexpected money arrives, opportunities flow, the seed has become a field. Think of the candle flame. When one candle lights another, it does not lose its fire. Instead, light increases. The room grows brighter with every flame. So it is with your money, your energy, your good. Bless it, share it, give thanks for it, and it will multiply. Hold it in fear, curse it, call it not enough, and it will shrink before your eyes. Let me tell you a story. A young woman lived paycheck to paycheck. Every time she received her wages, she muttered, "This will never be enough. It disappears too quickly." And indeed, it always did. One day, she came across the teaching of blessing. She was told, "Speak to every dollar. Bless it as it leaves you. See it returning multiplied." Though skeptical, she decided to try. The next payday, instead of sighing, she held her paycheck in her hands and declared, "Every dollar I receive multiplies tenfold. Every bill I pay blesses me in return. I release this money with joy, and it returns in abundance under grace." She spoke these words each time she spent. Weeks later, she was offered a side opportunity that doubled her income. Within a year, she was saving instead of struggling. Beloved, the law is simple. Whatever you bless increases. The law of multiplication does not recognize small or large, easy or difficult. It only recognizes the command of your faith. If you bless little, it becomes much. If you curse much, it becomes little. Look at nature. One grain of wheat planted in the soil produces a stalk with dozens of kernels. If those kernels are planted, they produce thousands. And if those thousands are planted, they produce millions. This is divine mathematics. Multiplication is not the exception, it is the rule. But you must activate it with blessing. So I ask you, how are you speaking about your money today? Do you complain when you spend? Do you sigh when you give? Or do you bless every transaction as a seed that multiplies? For the law listens to your decree. From this moment on, I urge you, bless the little, bless the much, bless the unseen. Hold your wallet and say, you are overflowing with abundance. When you pay for food, say, this seed multiplies into greater harvests. When you give, say, this gift returns to me multiplied under grace and in perfect ways. Decree with me now, all that I have is blessed. All that I touch multiplies. My money, my work, my gifts, my words, they expand without end. I live in the law of multiplication under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, the candle of your life is not meant to dwindle. It is meant to spread light endlessly. Multiply your good with every word, every thought, every blessing. And the universe, faithful and exact, will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Cast out fear, welcome faith. Beloved, fear is the great thief of mankind. It is the shadow that creeps into the heart, whispering lies of lack, danger, and doom. Fear paralyzes the flow of abundance. It closes the gates of prosperity. It turns fertile soil into desert ground. Yet hear this truth: faith is stronger than fear. A single spark of faith dissolves the thickest darkness of fear. Everywhere you look, people are ruled by fear. Fear of bills, fear of losing jobs, fear of sickness, fear of the unknown. They bow to fear as though it were a god. But fear is no god. It is a shadow, a vapor, a mirage. It has no substance except what you give it. The law of life is clear. What you focus on expands. If you feed fear with thought and word, fear multiplies. But if you turn your gaze to faith, faith blossoms, and with it, abundance flows. I once knew a young man who lived every day counting his coins with trembling hands. Rent was due, food was scarce, and each knock on the door filled him with dread. His lips often muttered, "What if I cannot pay? What if I lose everything? What if I fail?" And as he repeated these words, his world mirrored them. Opportunities dried up. Money slipped through his fingers. The law was simply obeying his fearful decree. But then, in a moment of desperation, he came across a sacred teaching: fear not, only believe. Those words pierced his soul like a sword of light. He realized he had been giving orders to the universe, orders of fear. And the universe, faithful as always, had obeyed. That very day, he changed his confession. He declared, "I live in the security of divine abundance. God is my source, and my supply never fails." He repeated it daily, even when fear tried to choke his voice. Slowly but surely, his reality shifted. Unexpected clients sought his service. Friends offered opportunities. The money he feared would not come began to flow with ease. Beloved, fear is like a shadow on the wall. It looks large, but if you shine a light upon it, it vanishes. Faith is that light. Fear says, "What if?" Faith says, "Even now I am provided for." Fear says, "I will lose." Faith says, "I already possess." Fear is a locked door. Faith is the golden key that swings it wide. Think of a seed planted in the soil. If you water it with fear, it rots. If you water it with faith, it grows. Your money, your health, your dreams, they are seeds. What are you watering them with? Fear or faith? Here is a holy secret. You cannot fight fear with logic. You cannot argue with it, debate it, or reason it away. Fear does not listen to reason. Fear flees only before faith, and faith comes by decree. When fear whispers, "You cannot pay that bill," you answer, "All my needs are met now and always, under grace and in perfect ways." When fear hisses, "You will fail," you proclaim, "I am divinely successful. I am upheld by the infinite." Notice, when fear taunts, "You are alone," you declare, "The Spirit of God goes before me, prepares my way and makes it perfect." Beloved, do you see? Faith is not passive. It is not hoping quietly in the corner. Faith is active. Faith speaks. Faith commands. Faith decrees. And the law, hearing the voice of faith, obeys instantly. Let us practice. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine fear as a dark figure standing at the doorway of your prosperity. Now see yourself clothed in radiant light, speaking with authority. "You have no power over me. I welcome only faith." Watch as the figure dissolves into nothing. See the doorway swing open. Feel the fresh wind of abundance rushing in. That is the truth of your life. From this day forward, beloved, you must be ruthless with fear. Do not allow it to speak unchecked. The moment it arises, cast it out with words of faith. Replace every "what if" with "it is done." Replace every doubt with decree. For the law does not guess, it obeys. If you decree fear, it will obey with scarcity. If you decree faith, it will obey with abundance. Now decree with me, "I walk in faith, not in fear. I live in the security of infinite supply. All my needs are met now and forever, under grace and in perfect ways." Beloved, remember always, fear is the lie. Faith is the truth. Cast out fear, welcome faith, and watch as your life blossoms into the full measure of prosperity prepared for you. The secret of the spoken word. Beloved, there is a secret hidden in plain sight, and yet only the awakened heart can truly grasp it. The spoken word creates. Your words are not idle sounds drifting into the air. They are living seeds, clothed with the power of spirit. Every sentence you utter carries a command to the universe, and the universe, faithful and exact, obeys. From the very beginning of creation, the pattern was revealed. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Do you see, beloved? God did not merely think light. God did not simply wish for light. God spoke it and it became. And you, made in the image and likeness of God, possess this same creative authority. When you speak, you decree. When you decree, you create. Yet how often do people use this sacred power against themselves? They say, "I am always broke," and their words build walls of lack around them. They sigh, "Money slips through my hands," and their decree becomes law. They murmur, "I never get ahead," and the law obeys. The tongue, beloved, is a rudder steering the ship of your life. If you let it wander in complaint, it will crash you upon the rocks of scarcity. But if you set it firm in faith, it will guide you to harbors overflowing with abundance. I once knew a woman who struggled with money all her life. Every time she paid a bill, she muttered, "This drains me dry." Every time she received a paycheck, she sighed, "It is never enough." And indeed, it never was. She did not realize that her words were planting seeds of perpetual lack. One day, she encountered this teaching: "Your word is your wand." She was told to begin blessing every payment, every dollar, every coin, with a decree of multiplication. At first, it felt strange, but she obeyed. Each time she spent, she said, "Every dollar I release returns to me multiplied, under grace and in perfect ways." Within months, her situation shifted. New opportunities opened, her salary increased, and she found herself with surplus where once there had been only struggle. What changed? Her words. The outer world simply mirrored the new decree she spoke into being. Beloved, I say this with holy urgency. Never again speak words of lack. Never again curse your finances with careless sentences. Instead, wield your tongue as the wand of power it is. Speak only life. Speak only increase. Speak only abundance. For every word is a decree, and the law does not argue, it obeys. Think of your words as keys. Each phrase unlocks a door. Say, I cannot afford, and you lock yourself out of abundance. Say, I am richly supplied, and you unlock the treasure house of heaven. Say, I am unlucky, and doors close. Say, everything I desire comes to me easily and joyfully, and doors swing wide. The law is precise. The word is law in action. Consider also the echo in the mountains. If you shout failure, the echo returns failure. If you cry poverty, the echo returns poverty. But if you call success, the mountains answer success. If you declare abundance, the echo multiplies it back to you. So it is with spirit. The world is your echo chamber. It does not decide what to return. It only repeats what you send out. Beloved, what are you echoing today? Are you sending forth fear, lack, doubt, complaint? Or are you sending forth faith, supply, joy, and confidence? Here is your sacred practice. Each morning, before you rise, decree aloud the life you choose to live. Say, I am blessed with divine abundance. Money comes to me in increasing measure, under grace and in perfect ways. When you walk into your work, say, this place prospers because I am here. I am a channel of wealth, joy, and success. When you prepare for sleep, say, I rest in infinite supply. Tomorrow, new channels of prosperity open for me. Beloved, words spoken in faith are not mere wishes. They are laws issued to the invisible realm. Angels move, doors open, supply flows, all in obedience to the decree of your tongue. Now, let us decree together. My word is law. My tongue speaks only abundance. Every sentence I speak multiplies my wealth, my health, and my joy, under grace and in perfect ways. Remember this always. Your word is your wand. The law waits upon your lips. Speak life, and life will flood your path. Speak abundance, and abundance will overflow your cup. Speak health, and your body will respond. The secret is no secret at all. It is the eternal truth. The spoken word creates, under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, there is a phrase more powerful than gold, more precious than rubies, more protective than the strongest fortress. Under grace and in perfect ways. These words are a shield. They are a compass. They are a safeguard against haste, error, and harm. When you decree abundance, health, or love, always anchor it with this holy phrase, for it ensures that your good arrives free of sorrow, free of struggle, free of danger. The world often teaches people to chase wealth with force, with worry, with restless ambition. But such riches are built on sand, and when the storm comes, they collapse. There is prosperity that glitters, yet burns the hand that holds it. There is success that dazzles, but steals peace. There is gain that arrives quickly, but disappears faster than smoke. Why? Because it was not received under grace, and it was not established in perfect ways. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman who longed for wealth. Impatient, she threw herself into ventures that promised fast returns. She borrowed money, took reckless risks, and ignored the quiet voice of spirit. For a brief season, she gained much. But soon, the tide turned. Her investments collapsed, her debts grew heavier, and she found herself in despair. One evening, broken and weary, she encountered a truth. You can have anything you desire if you claim it under grace and in perfect ways. She began to decree daily, I am divinely prospered under grace and in perfect ways. Slowly, her life shifted. She was guided to steady opportunities, wise partnerships, and lasting wealth. This time, her prosperity came with peace, security, and joy. Beloved, when you add the phrase under grace and in perfect ways, you are aligning with divine intelligence. You are saying, I will not grasp at shadows. I will not force what is not mine. I will not accept blessings laced with sorrow. I receive only that which comes by divine appointment, untouched by harm, free from fear, secure in eternity. Think of it this way. Imagine standing before a great banquet. The table is filled with dishes, some rich and nourishing, others poisoned, though they appear sweet. Without wisdom, you might reach for what glitters and harm yourself. But when you decree under grace and in perfect ways, it is as though an angel takes your hand, guiding you only to the feast prepared for you, nourishing, safe, overflowing with joy. Beloved, prosperity gained under grace never fades. It multiplies, it strengthens, it blesses not only you, but all connected to you. It leaves no debt, no regret, no hidden sting. For grace is the law of divine love, and perfect ways are the pathways laid out by Spirit. Here is another story. A man once prayed for wealth but forgot to anchor his request. He entered a business partnership that seemed promising, but it was built on dishonesty. Though money flowed for a time, it came with anxiety, suspicion, and betrayal. Finally, the partnership collapsed, and he lost nearly everything. In his sorrow, he learned to pray differently. Spirit, I receive abundance, under grace and in perfect ways. Soon he was led to honest work, true friends, and wealth that grew steadily and securely. He discovered peace of mind was worth more than quick profit. Beloved, the law is exact. You can decree wealth and it will come. But how it comes matters. Always call it forth under grace and in perfect ways. That phrase protects you from deception, delays harm, and aligns your good with harmony. Now let us decree together, I receive my riches under grace and in perfect ways. I claim my health, my home, my opportunities, and my joy under grace and in perfect ways. Nothing can block my good, and nothing can harm me, for divine intelligence governs my supply. Never forget, the shortcut of fear leads to ruin, but the pathway of grace leads to eternal abundance. What is yours, divinely appointed, cannot be lost. What comes to you by Spirit cannot be taken away. Prosperity under grace is prosperity that lasts. Live as though it is already so. Beloved, the final key to abundance is this: you must live as though your good is already yours. Faith is not waiting nervously for proof. Faith is not pacing the floor, asking, when will it come? How will it happen? Faith celebrates before the evidence appears. Faith sings the victory song while the battlefield still looks empty. Faith thanks God before the harvest breaks through the soil. This is the sacred secret. Act as if it is already so, and the law will make it so. For the law reflects your inner world. If you walk as though you lack, the law will mirror lack. But if you walk as though you already possess, the law must obey and manifest it. The law does not guess, it obeys. I once knew a man who longed for a home of his own. For years he complained, I will never be able to afford a house, and so the law obeyed, and he never could. Then one day, he changed his approach. Instead of sighing, he began to give thanks for the home he desired. Each night he walked through his small apartment, blessing it as though it were his dream house. He said aloud, I live in my perfect home now. It is mine under grace and in perfect ways. He visualized himself walking through beautiful rooms, standing in a garden, resting in peace. Months later, in a way he could never have predicted, he inherited a home that matched his vision in every detail. The law had simply reflected the reality he had begun to live within. Beloved, you cannot beg your way into prosperity. You cannot plead your way into abundance. You must decree, you must embody, you must live it now. For Spirit responds not to begging, but to belief. And belief is always expressed through action. Think of the butterfly. Within the caterpillar, the butterfly already exists. Though unseen, it is real. The caterpillar does not say, perhaps one day I will become. It already carries the wings within. And at the appointed time, the unseen becomes visible. So it is with your dreams. They are already present in the invisible. You must live as though they are real, and in time, they will break forth into sight. Let me share another story. A young woman desired to travel the world, but she had no savings. Instead of saying, "I cannot," she began to prepare as though it were certain. She bought a suitcase, she studied maps, she practiced phrases in new languages. She told herself daily, "I am a world traveler, under grace and in perfect ways." Within a year, she was unexpectedly offered a job that required international travel, all expenses paid. By living as though it were already so, she had opened the door for Spirit to deliver. Beloved, faith is not passive, it is performative. To live in faith is to act in alignment with your decree. If you decree wealth, carry yourself with the dignity of one who is richly supplied. If you decree health, walk and speak as one already whole. If you decree success, move through life with confidence as though your victory were already written in stone, for indeed it is. Let us practice now. Close your eyes. See yourself already living in your desire. If it is wealth, see your accounts overflowing. If it is health, see your body radiant and strong. If it is love, see yourself cherished and joyful. And then, beloved, live in that vision. Walk through your days with gratitude as though it were already yours, for in truth, it is. Decree with me. I live in the fulfillment of my desires now. I act as one already supplied, already healed, already successful. The law obeys my faith, and my good appears swiftly under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, remember this eternal truth. Life does not give you what you wait for, it gives you what you live for. Walk as though it is already done, and the universe will rush to prove you right. Wonderful. Now let us bring everything together with the final conclusion, the closing decree, and all the extra YouTube elements you asked for. This will serve as the grand ending to your full Florence Scovel Shinn style script. Beloved, you have walked with me through these sacred principles. You have learned that money is your servant, not your master. You have discovered the holy art of naming your good. You have received the law of multiplication, that what you bless expands. You have cast out fear and welcomed faith. You have unveiled the secret of the spoken word, the wand of your creative power. You have anchored your desires under grace and in perfect ways. And finally, you have entered the living truth, that you must act as though your good is already here. Beloved, hear me now. Abundance is not distant. It is not hidden in some faraway place. It is not waiting for luck or chance or permission. It is here. It is within you. It flows through you. You are the channel of divine supply, and your word is the key that opens the gates of infinite treasure. Never again bow to lack. Never again chase money as though it were your master. Stand tall, speak boldly, command with faith, and watch as your life transforms into a living testimony of divine prosperity. Now, I ask you, comment below with the decree you choose to live today. For your words have power, and when spoken, they set the law in motion. Declare your abundance, and let heaven echo it back to you. I am the channel of infinite abundance. Money is my servant, and it obeys my command. All that I release returns to me multiplied, under grace and in perfect ways. I live in my good now, and my prosperity flows endlessly, forever expanding, forever increasing.